Hi everyone, welcome to the webinar and workshop series conducted by TCS in lieu of the upcoming MCS exams happening in November 2025. My name is Nick and I'm the lead tutor and evaluator for MCS at TCS. So let's look at the session outcomes. First things first, I'm going to share some technical details about your examination. Most of you are coming through the exemption route, and this might be your first CIMA case study. So it's essential that you understand how your knowledge is tested and what you need to do when it comes to preparations. That is why I want to highlight the technicalities behind your MCS exam. And in the second part of today's webinar, I will be sharing an 8-week study plan with you, thereby explaining what you need to achieve in the upcoming 8 weeks when conducting your preparations. And before we get into the technicalities, let me quickly remind you of the webinars and workshops we have scheduled for you. The pre-scene analysis webinar is happening next Friday at 18 GMT or 7 PM UK. As you know, the pre-scene which is relevant for November 2025 and February 2026 MCS exams will be released next Friday. Coinciding with this pre-scene release, we will be conducting a pre-scene analysis on the same day. And in this pre-scene analysis, I will be conducting an industry analysis first, thereby explaining what your industry is all about. Then I will be conducting a pre-scene analysis. And at the same time, I will talk about how you should tackle pre-scene application when developing your answers. And in the third webinar, which is answering technique, I will be explaining crucial answering and time management techniques with you. And at the same time, I will not just be teaching you these two techniques. I will take you through one of the mock exams, and therefore I will be explaining how you should implement these answering and time management techniques whenever you are attempting mock exams. So out of the 4 webinars, the third one is the most important one. So without fail, I hope you'd attend it to learn answering and time management techniques. And after you have learned these two techniques, you are supposed to keep practicing these techniques over and over whenever you are attempting mock exams with the intention of championing these techniques, because without championing these techniques, you cannot gain good marks at your examination. And in the 4th webinar, exam prep, I will be taking you through the exam blueprint, thereby highlighting what the examiner wants you to achieve when conducting preparations. And at the same time, I will be sharing certain tips which will ensure that you understand stress management techniques or learn stress management techniques, which is crucial because at this examination, the examiner is not just testing your theory knowledge and application skills. The examiner is also trying to figure out whether you are capable of playing the role of a finance manager. That is why the examiner tries to figure out whether you are capable of managing your stress levels. So it's essential that you master stress management techniques as well, because when you start attempting mock exams, you will feel what I'm talking about. You will gain a better understanding of the type of stresses you'd face. So it's essential that you take steps to manage these stressful situations when attempting each mock exam. So on top of answering and time management techniques, which will be highlighted in the 3rd webinar, in the 4th webinar, I will be teaching you stress management techniques as well. And I expect you to keep practicing these 3 techniques each time you are attempting a mock exam. And once we are done with the webinar series, we are kickstarting the workshop series from the 18th of October, and focused on each syllabus area or each pillar. We are conducting 3 different workshops, and in each of these workshops, I will be taking you through the relevant syllabus elements. And at the same time, I will take you through a mock exam, thereby explaining how you should approach each syllabus area and how you should structure your answers in the most successful manner. And in each of these workshops, I will be conducting a Q&A. So by the time, as per our study plan, by the time we are kickstarting our workshop series, you should be done with at least 2 mock exams. Definitely, you will have questions. That is why it's essential that you attend these workshops, which are conducted live, with the intention of getting your questions answered. And at the same time, this is the best way to keep tabs about your performance on a weekly basis. And in the final workshop, which happens 2 or 3 days before your real examination, I will be sharing last-minute tips with you to make sure that you are walking into the exam with a high level of positivity, because as per the CIMA examiner, if you believe in yourself, if you are confident about your skill set, then you can easily pass this exam. So I hope you will join us and make use of these free webinars and workshops which are conducted on a weekly basis, which is the best way to learn the technicalities behind your exam, learn how to structure your answers, learn how to approach each syllabus area, and at the same time, this is the best way to improve your skill set and confidence, and keep tabs about your performance in each week by attending each of our webinars and workshops. Having said that, let's try to understand what your MCS exam is all about. So first things first, let's try to understand how students end up at the MCS exam. So there are a minority of students who are coming through the CIMA general route. So these are the type of students who have completed their OTQ, or objective test questions exams. So these are the type of students who have already learned E2, F2 and P2 syllabus areas, and because they have completed their OTQ exams, and these students have already completed their operational case study. So these students are already conversant about how CIMA case study exams work, how their knowledge is tested, and at the same time, since they have already learned E2, F2 and P2 syllabi, they will be extremely comfortable when it comes to attempting this MCS exam. So they have done a case study exam previously, which is the OCS exam. On top of that, they have learned all syllabus areas, so they need not worry too much about this examination. When conducting your preparations, your job should be to, if you're coming through the general route, your job should be to try and improve your application skills. Other than that, you will find this exam to be a walk in the park. However, compared to those who are coming through the general route, when we look at the other set of students, the majority who are coming through the exemption routes, such as the Master's Gateway or the FLP routes, you will struggle a bit with this examination, because your knowledge is tested in a practical manner. And at the same time, since you are coming through exemptions, you will have knowledge gaps, especially concerning your P2 and F2 syllabi. So in your master's programs or in your academic programs, you would have covered what is highlighted within your E2 syllabus, which is everything to do with human resources management, project management, leadership and whatnot. So all these elements are actually covered in your master's programs or any academic qualification which you have followed so far. But when it comes to P2 and F2 syllabi, F2 is everything to do with finance management. So certain IASs and IFRSs will be tested. And at the same time, you should know how to manage short-term, medium-term, and long-term financing within your chosen company. And at the same time, under your P2 syllabus, performance management related elements are covered. So this includes decision-making elements such as investment appraisals, risk management, dealing with uncertainties. All these type of things are covered in your P2 syllabus. And in your P2 syllabus, there are decision-making tools, various different concepts and decision-making tools which are included. So in most academic qualifications and master's programs, these two elements, the performance management related elements as well as finance management related elements, are not covered. So because of that, you will feel that this is a tough examination, but don't worry. We have developed special study resources specifically focused on you if you're coming through the exemption route, with the prime intention of teaching you all theoretical areas and at the same time teaching you how to deal with application. So if you're coming through the general route, this is going to be a walk in the park. On the other hand, if you're coming through the exemption routes, you'd struggle a bit compared to someone who is coming through the general route. But don't worry about anything, because we have taken steps to cover all syllabus areas. We have taken steps to develop a set of videos with the intention of teaching you all theoretical concepts. And at the same time, we have taken steps to ensure that you significantly improve your application skills. With that in mind, we have developed some special resources. You'd get to know about all these things within this webinar itself. So that's the pathway to MCS. and let's try to understand how your exam is structured. So this is a PC-based examination. So you have two options at your disposal. You can either attempt the exam at home or attempt the exam at an examination center. So if you are experiencing frequent power outages or internet issues, my recommendation is to attempt the exam at an examination center, because all these technical difficulties will throw you off your preparation strategy, throw you off your answering and time management strategy. All these technical difficulties will expose you to undue stressful situations. So all these types of problems should be avoided at all costs. So if you are experiencing these type of problems, make up your mind to attempt the exam at an examination center rather than attempting the exam at home. And looking at the time allocation of the entire paper, it's 3 hours, and your paper is divided into 4 different sections, and the time allocation dedicated for each section is 45 minutes each. So let me quickly take you through one of the mock exams which we have developed to explain how your paper is structured. So as I mentioned earlier, there are 4 sections, and the time allocation per section is 45 minutes. And in each section, you will see 2 or 3 subtasks. So there could be 2 subtasks. In most of your questions, there will be just 2 subtasks, but in certain sections, you will see 3 subtasks. And you can see some weightages in here. These weightages give us an indication of mark allocation on a subtask by subtask basis. So if you look at this question, this consists of 2 main parts, and each part, there's a weightage at the very end of each part, which gives us an indication of mark allocations. And when developing your answers, it's essential that you understand how many marks are dedicated for each subtask before you start developing your answers. So I will teach you all these things, all these techniques in the third webinar. For now, just try to gain an understanding of how your exam is structured and how your knowledge is tested. And the examiner is trying to replicate a real-life corporate environment. That's why I said previously that your knowledge is tested in a practical manner. So if you look at this question, it's as if you are receiving an email from the senior finance manager. Your role is that of a finance manager. I'm going to explain what your responsibilities are in a little while. For now, just understand the fact that it's as if you are receiving an email from your superior, who is the senior finance manager. And there's some scenario which highlights about some type of an opportunity the company is trying to exploit, or some type of a threat the company is trying to manage. And based on the scenario, there will be 2 or 3 requirements which are intended to test your knowledge concerning various different conceptual elements, as well as knowledge concerning whether you are aware of what happens within your chosen industry and what happens within your chosen company. And along with this information, you will get some additional resources as well, just like at office, because whenever you receive an email, if the sender of the email wants to share some additional information with you, he or she will attach a certain document or a set of documents. So that's the exact same way in which your knowledge is tested. So you have access to the email along with an attachment which gives you some additional information which should be considered when developing your answers. And that's the same thing you can see in here as well. In section number 2, you are receiving an email. There are 2 subtasks in here, and there's some additional material shared with you via the reference material. So that's how your knowledge is tested. And with regards to time management, although I said that you are supposed to sit in one place and attempt the exam across 3 hours, this is divided. This entire paper is divided into 4 different sections, and the time allocation for each section is 45 minutes. So let's assume that you start your examination. You are in section number 1. You will see a timer running out from 45 minutes. And when the time runs out, you will be automatically directed to section number 2. And when you are in section number 2, you cannot go back to section number 1. So when it comes to managing your time, you should not think in terms of managing 3 hours in total. Instead, you should think in terms of managing 4 slots of 45 minutes each. So you should know how you should manage your each slot, which comprises of 45 minutes. So that's what you need to remember. Once you are in a section, you cannot go back to a previous section. So that's why you need to think in terms of managing 4 slots of 45 minutes each. You will be quite comfortable in the first 2 sections, but from section 3 onwards, due to stress, due to fatigue, you will see that there's a tendency for you to panic and or to give up attempting the mock exam, or at your real examination, there's a tendency for students to give up halfway through the paper due to fatigue setting in, due to stress levels increasing. So that is exactly why it's essential that you attempt each mock exam under exam conditions, thereby replicating real exam conditions, with the intention of ensuring that you are exposed to all these problems when conducting your preparations, rather than facing them for the first time at your real exam. So it's essential that you attempt each mock exam under exam conditions, and at the same time, it's essential that you practice answering time management and stress management techniques, which you are going to learn by attending the 3rd and 4th webinars. Okay, so you will learn all these things in depth in the future. After we are done with the 3rd and 4th webinars, I'm just giving you a glimpse into what this examination is all about. And when it comes to attempting or when it comes to developing answers, you need to develop something called an answer plan, which should look something like this. So you should spend some time to structure your answer, because that is exactly what you do at office. If you receive an important email which carries a lot of information, before responding, you will take some time to structure your answer. You will take some time to ensure that you have addressed the requirement. You will take some time to ensure that you have covered all information which was shared with you in your response. And at the same time, as and when necessary, you will try to figure out whether you can include some conceptual knowledge when responding, with the intention of developing a high quality response. So that's why you need to spend some time to develop something called an answer plan, such as this. And once you have developed the answer plan, your next step should be to expand this answer plan in paragraph form, and therefore your answer should look, your final answer should look something like this. So if you look at this answer plan, this is tied to the business model of your chosen company, and this is how or what your final answer should look like. So this is the suggested answer for the question pertaining to business models. And as you can see, the entire answer is in paragraph form. You are not supposed to provide answers in bullet points or in single-lined sentences. Instead, it should be in paragraphs. So when it comes to planning, you should develop a skeleton such as this. And when it comes to expanding your answer plan, you should flesh out the skeleton in paragraph form. And that is why it's not too easy to master this technique. That is why I'm asking you guys to practice this answering technique, because if you master this answering technique, you will never run out of time at your real examination, because we have combined the answering technique with time management. So if you master the answering technique, then you will master time management as well. And this is how you should manage your time in each section. So the time allocation is 45 minutes each, and you need to develop an answer plan, or you need to develop the answer structure, taking 15 to 20 minutes of your time. And once you have an answer structure at your disposal, utilizing the remaining time, which could be 25 to 30 minutes, you should expand your answer plan and in paragraph form. Therefore, your final answer should look something like this. So this is how you should approach your examination. And in order to pass, you need to score 80 out of 150, 80 or more, or as a percentage, you just need to score 54%. As you know, you are not getting any grades. It's just a pass mark or a fail. So even if you screw up half your paper, you can still pass this examination. So the only thing which you need to achieve is to be disciplined in the upcoming 8 weeks and stick to the study plan, and keep practicing the techniques which I was highlighting earlier. Because if you do so, if you take steps to phase out your preparations rather than waiting until the last moment, if you start right now, you will have ample time to improve your skill set, because this exam depends on you improving your answering, time management, and stress management techniques. If you improve these 3 techniques, you need not worry about passing this examination, even if you're coming through an exemption route. So this is what the examination is all about. Then let's try to figure out what your role is. You are supposed to play the role of a finance manager. So when taking you through the mock exam, I highlighted this point as well. So as a finance manager, you are located at the management level of the organization. So you are the link between top level decision makers, or those who are located in the strategic level, or the board members of the company, and those who are involved with day-to-day activities of your organization, who are located at the operational level. So what you need to understand is, those who are at the strategic level, they will come up with decisions concerning the long run of your chosen company, and those who are at the operational level are involved with implementing these decisions. So your job as a finance manager is to create a link between the decision makers and implementers, and therefore you should keep tabs about what the operational level guys are doing. So you should provide leadership, and at the same time you should communicate directly with those who are at the strategic level or long-term decision makers. So you are supposed to play a dual role. You are supposed to control those who are at the operational level, and at the same time you should keep the decision makers informed as well. So you need to have good communication skills as well as leadership skills. And since you are supposed to play the role of a finance manager, since you are located within the finance department, you have to be conversant with the numbers, the ratios, the IASs, IFRSs, how to manage cash flows in the short term, medium term, as well as in the long term. So at this stage, at the management case study, there's a high level of application and practical thinking expected. So theories will be definitely tested. Theories concerning all 3 pillars, E2, F2, and P2. And at the same time, the examiner is testing whether you can be involved with decision making, or come up with practical decisions. So decision making skills or application skills are tested as well. So if you're coming through the general route, let me talk about the operational case study examination. So the operational case study exam, or the OCS exam, is a highly technical examination. So 85% of the questions are focused on the P2 and F2 syllabi. And if you know your theories, you can easily pass the OCS examination. The only type of questions in which your application skills or your decision-making skills are tested are tied to key performance indicators. You are expected to recommend KPIs at the OCS stage. That's the only situation in which you are involved with decision-making. Other than that, it's everything to do with assisting decision makers, everything to do with dealing with conceptual knowledge. But at this stage, there's a 50% weightage provided towards testing your theoretical knowledge, and a similar weightage, another 50% weightage provided towards testing your decision-making skills. So just because you learn your theories, you cannot pass this examination. Just because you are good at decision making, just because you are practical, you cannot pass this exam if you have knowledge gaps. So that's why I said, especially if you are coming through the exemption route, it's essential that you overcome your knowledge gaps. If not, you will keep repeating this examination. I have to be honest with you at the inception. I have to tell you what you need to do. If you're coming through an exemption route, you have to be serious. You cannot pass this exam by attempting just 1 or 2 mock exams. Instead, you have to take steps to ensure that you are conversant with how each syllabus area is tested. And at the same time, you should take steps to significantly improve your application skills, because at this exam, if you provide highly theoretical answers, you are not going to pass. Why am I saying this? Because as I mentioned earlier, the examiner is trying to replicate a real life corporate environment. So in a real life corporate environment, let's assume you are receiving an email from your boss, and the boss is asking you about the existing business model and related to something new which we intend to do, how the existing business model is going to change. So when this type of a question is thrown at you, if you try to explain what you have learned about business models as per what's highlighted within your E2 syllabus, you will confuse your boss or your superior. So your job when it comes to developing a response is to address the exact requirement of your superior rather than trying to elaborate theoretical concepts, because your boss is not interested to learn about theoretical concepts. The boss wants to get his or her query addressed instantaneously and directly. So that is exactly why when it comes to developing answers, yes, you need to know all conceptual knowledge highlighted within your P2, F2, and E2 syllabi. And at the same time, you should understand how to work on application skills, because if you're clueless of how to apply these conceptual knowledge when developing your answers, you will struggle at this examination. So it's a bit tough if you look at if you compare compare this exam with OCS. This is a bit tough. However, with proper discipline, if you stick to our study plan, you can easily pass this examination, because all you need is a structured approach. All you need is preparations focused on covering all syllabus areas. All you need is preparations focused on significantly improving your application skills. So that's what your role is. Then let's try to understand about the exam further. So information is provided about a fictitious company in advance via something called a pre-seen document. So as I mentioned earlier, your knowledge is tested in a practical manner, and the examiner tries to create a real life corporate environment. That's why your knowledge is tested via a case study. So if you look at this case study, which was developed for the previous sittings, which happened in May and August 2025, you can see that the examiner gives you an introduction about your chosen company and gives you a glimpse into your chosen industry, because as a finance manager, you should have a good understanding of what happens within your industry, because as a decision maker, you should know how your decisions will impact various different stakeholders, or how it will, whether your decisions are aligned with industry dynamics. So that's why the examiner shares some information about your industry, and a majority or a high level of prominence is provided towards explaining what happens within your company. So last time's pre-scene was based on a salon chain. So that is why the examiner shares some information about how the company runs its salons and what happens within the head office, what happens within the academy, how the board is structured, the business model of your chosen company, and as well as extracts from your annual report will be shared. Financial statements such as the statement of profit and loss and the statement of financial position will be shared, along with the competitors' statement of profit and loss and the statement of financial position. So you should have the capability to compare your financial performance against the company's closest competitor to see where we stand as a company. And towards the end, news reports are highlighted along with some blog posts, and these are the elements which hint about the probable scenarios which can be tested at the examination. So it's essential that you understand these two elements, the news reports and blog posts, to understand what type of scenarios can be tested, because when you understand the scenarios, then you can easily understand how various different syllabi can be tested at the examination. So that's exactly what you can see here. There's an introduction about the company, and there's a glimpse into the industry, thereby explaining what the industry is all about, various different segments, and players within the industry. And then there's an indication of there's an indication of your chosen company. what happens within various different departments. All this information shared with you, what happens within your head office. And usually the head office is divided into various different functions. So what happens within each of these functions will be shared with you, along with what happens within a subsidiary of your company, if a subsidiary exists. And also there's a high level of prominence provided towards explaining the board structure, explaining what the board members are up to, what their responsibilities are. And then the business model is depicted as well. You should have the capability to understand the current business model, and whenever we are trying to do something new, how our business model will change. You need to carry out or conduct explanations concerning how our current business model is poised to change when we are trying to do something new. So in order to do that successfully, it's essential that you understand the existing business model of your chosen company. And then, as I mentioned earlier, financial statements are shared with you. So the statement of profit and loss, the statement of changes in equity, and the statement of financial position is shared with you, along with your closest competitors' financial statements. And at the very end, you'd see news reports as well as blog posts, which gives us an indication of what can be tested, the type of scenarios which will be tested at the exam. So by understanding this information, we can predict the possible exam scenarios which can be tested. And when we know the possible exam scenarios, we can also predict the syllabus areas which can be tested as well. So it's essential that you go through this document. When you receive this pre-scene, you won't see these annotations, because these are annotations which we at TCS have developed. So you will simply get this document, which goes on for 25 to 30 pages. There's hordes and hordes of information. Don't try to decrypt this pre-scene document on your own. You will struggle a lot, because you are not in a position to understand the most important points and leave out the unnecessary information which appears within the pre-scene. Simply wait until the pre-scene is out. Wait until we conduct the pre-scene analysis session. Then you will understand how you should approach this pre-scene document. And also, it's essential that you gain a good understanding of your industry. That is why you need to refer to these set of slides, which we will be sharing with you. And we have, when developing these slides, we have divided this analysis into 4 main parts. In the first part, we usually explain about your industry or define your industry. Then we highlight industry trends and challenges and opportunities faced by players within this industry. And based on these industry trends, challenges, and opportunities, scenarios will be thrown at you at your real exam. And with the intention of ensuring that you gain a better understanding of what the industry is all about, we have considered one single company and explained how real life companies operate within your chosen industry. So it's essential that you go through these industry analysis slides. Don't try to conduct an industry analysis on your own, which will lead to a lot of time wastage. Instead, simply go through the industry analysis slides which we have developed. And similarly, don't try to evaluate the financial statements on your own. Simply go through the set of slides which we have developed, because we have made sure to evaluate each financial statement in depth, yet making sure to keep things simple so that you can easily understand about the financial standing of your chosen company. And then at the very end, we have conducted a ratio analysis concerning your chosen company and its closest competitor, so that you gain a better understanding of the financial standing of your chosen company. So these are the resources you should use to gain a good understanding of your industry and about the internal dynamics of your chosen company. Because if you have knowledge gaps concerning your industry and your chosen company, you will struggle at your real examination. Because if you're, as I mentioned earlier, in this exam, 50% weightage is provided towards testing your application skills or decision-making skills. So as a decision maker, if you don't know what happens within your industry, if you are clueless of, or if you don't have a clearer picture of what happens within various different departments, so what happens within your company, then you will not come up with the best type of decision. So that's why it's essential that you gain a good understanding of the entire pre-scene. You need not worry. We will be sharing resources with you, which will help you to easily understand what your pre-scene is all about, what your company is all about, and what is highlighted within your within the pre-scene concerning your industry. And in the exam, you are required to address issues or questions relating to the managerial aspects of the company. So you are supposed to play the role of a finance manager. So you are involved with providing leadership to operational level individuals, and at the same time communicating with the top leadership of your organization. So when developing your answers, you should show to the examiner that you are well aware of the company and the industry. So that is why you need to master the information which appears within the pre-scene, and at the same time you should apply your knowledge concerning your what you have learned via the E2, P2, and F2 syllabi. So when addressing a question to do with business models, it's essential that you apply the knowledge which you have gained via your E2 syllabus concerning business models. And this is a question in which you are supposed to highlight business risks. And when doing so, there's a certain methodology which you need to adhere to, which is highlighted within your P2 syllabus. And looking at the next section, so this is about negotiating an acquisition. So when negotiating an acquisition, there are financial elements which you need to look at, as well as the decision-making related elements. So the decision-making related elements are covered in your E2 syllabus, and the financial elements are covered in your F2 syllabus. So this is tied to your E2 syllabus, the first requirement, and the second requirement. You are supposed to explain how the addition of G&G as 100% subsidiary will affect the analysis of Tremere Group's consolidated financial statements. So how this, acquisition is going to impact the financial statements, which is tied to the F2 syllabus. So if you don't know how to deal with a subsidiary and how it impacts the consolidated financial statements, you will end up losing 50% of marks which are dedicated for the second section. If so, there's a high chance of you failing this examination. So that's why that's why I said that it's essential that you gain a good understanding of how each syllabus area can be tested at the exam, because if you have knowledge gaps, you will struggle with 2 or 3 subtasks. And when you struggle with these subtasks, this is where pressure sets in. When you know that you have screwed up, this is when you panic. When you panic, you will develop half-hearted answers, or answers which are not well thought out due to panic or stress setting in. So in order to be fully prepared, you have to make sure to cover all syllabus areas when conducting your preparations. There should not be any knowledge gaps before you walk into your real examination. So you should understand how to apply the conceptual knowledge which you have gained via your E2, P2, and F2 syllabi when developing your answers. And at the same time, you should be conversant about what happens within your company and the industry with the intention of developing the best type of recommendations or arriving at the best type of decisions. So this is how your examination is structured. And having said that, let's try to understand what you are supposed to achieve in the upcoming weeks. So this is a long to-do list if you look at this. But after I've explained the 8-week study plan, you will understand that this is going to be a walk in the park. You need not put in a lot of effort. If you are smart, you just need to put in just 8 to 9 hours of study time per week. Nothing more, nothing less. If you do so, you will cover all these elements which are highlighted within our to-do list. So first things first, you need to read through the annotated pre-scene with the intention of gaining an understanding of your company, its internal dynamics, its external dynamics, and what appears within the financial statements. Once you have done so, you are supposed to watch the pre-scene analysis videos. So any pre-scene is divided into 3 main parts. In the first part, the examiner highlights about industry dynamics. In the second part, the examiner highlights about internal dynamics of your chosen company. And in the third part, the examiner shares some information about the financial standing of your company and its closest competitor. So, adhering to a similar methodology when developing pre-scene analysis videos, we have structured 3 videos in which we are explaining each part of the pre-scene based on the annotated pre-scene. And once you have watched these 3 videos, you need not do anything else. Once you have watched these 3 videos, you will gain an in-depth understanding about your industry, the internal dynamics of your company, and what appears within your financial statements. So after gaining an in-depth understanding of the pre-scene, then you should kickstart your mock attempts. So this is when you should start practicing the mock exams which we have developed. At TCS, we developed 6 mock exams. Why 6 mocks? Because if you had gone through past exam variants or past papers, you would have seen the examiner has developed 6 different papers or 6 different variants focused on one single pre-scene. So the examiner is forced to develop 6 variants with the intention of covering the entire syllabus, because the examiner cannot cover the entire syllabus by developing just 2 or 3 papers. So that is why, to replicate a similar methodology to ensure that we cover all syllabus areas, that is why we at TCS, we have developed 6 mock exams which are pre-scene specific and exam standard. And via these 6 mock exams, we have made sure to cover all syllabus areas. So if you attempt all 6 mock exams, you will understand how each syllabus area is tested, and at your exam you will know, when you know how each syllabus area is tested at the exam, you won't be testing your luck. You will know how to approach each and every subtask in a successful manner. So it's essential that you make up your mind to practice 6 mock exams when conducting preparations. If you're planning to attempt just 1 or 2 mock exams, don't attempt this examination because you are ill prepared. It's essential that you attempt the 6 mocks to gain a good understanding of how each syllabus area is tested and how you should approach each syllabus area. Don't walk into the exam if you have knowledge gaps. Don't test your luck, because I'm yet to find a student who has passed the MCS exam by attempting just 2 or 3 mocks. It's essential that you attempt all 6 mock exams. And you have to attend the live webinars and workshops which are conducted on a weekly basis, because in each webinar, I'm sharing some technical details with you concerning your examination. And at the same time, in each workshop, I will explain how to approach each syllabus pillar. So it's essential that you attend these webinars and workshops, which is the best way to keep tabs about your performance on a weekly basis. And also, you are supposed to refer to a set of slides, the industry, financial analysis, and top 10 issues slides. You saw how we have structured the industry analysis slides a while back, and how we have structured the financial analysis slides as well. The top 10 issue slides will indicate the most probable scenarios which can be tested, or the top 10 scenarios which can be tested at the exam. And you also have to go through the theory recaps concerning your E2, F2, and P2 syllabi, because after attempting a mock exam, if you feel that you cannot remember a certain syllabus area, or if you want to learn about a certain concept, simply go through the revision cards to brush up your knowledge in a jiffy. Don't waste time trying to learn theories on your own. Don't go through past notes or bulky study texts. Simply refer to the revision cards in a jiffy. You are in a position to brush up your knowledge. And then you are supposed to watch 20 pre-recorded masterclasses. And these masterclasses are intended for those who are coming through the exemption route. Because at the inception of this session, I said that those who are coming through exemption routes have knowledge gaps and they have issues with application. So with the prime intention of teaching you all syllabus areas, and at the same time teaching you with the intention of teaching you application skills, we have developed these masterclasses. And these masterclasses are 100% aligned with the mock exams which we have developed. So the masterclasses concerning mock exam 1 will be covered in the webinar and workshop series. And from mock 2 to 6, in each mock exam, there are 4 sections. So 4 sections into 5 mocks come out to 20 sections in total. So focused on each section, we have developed masterclasses with the objective of teaching you the theoretical element covered within each of our mock exams, and at the same time teaching you how to apply these theoretical elements or conceptual knowledge when developing answers. So if you have knowledge gaps and issues with application, you need not worry. We have developed masterclasses which are 100% aligned with the mock exams which we have developed, because rather than you learning theory in isolation and trying to work out application, simply watch these masterclasses, then you will understand the theoretical elements, and at the same time you will understand how you should apply these conceptual knowledge when developing your answers. All right, and then you are supposed to refer to the answer plans of all 6 mock exams when conducting revision. After attempting each mock exam, you have to take steps to ensure that you are capable of developing high quality answers, well structured answers, and the only way to achieve this is to redevelop answer plans after attempting each mock exam. After you have redeveloped answer plans, compare your fresh answer plans to TCS's to further refine your understanding about how you should have structured your answers, how you should have worked on your application, and how you should have brought in or applied theoretical concepts. And also, we are providing personalized tutor feedback. So this is the type of feedback on offer. Let me quickly show you the type of feedback we offer at TCS. So as you can see, we have evaluated each and every point in depth, making sure to highlight your shortcomings so that because the objective of you opting for tutor feedback should be to understand your shortcomings, because if you understand your shortcomings, you can take steps to overcome your problems when conducting revision. So as I mentioned earlier, across the upcoming 8 weeks, your job is to improve your skill set, improve your answering technique, improve your application skills. So the best way to fix all your problems is to redevelop answer plans, which is the best way to conduct revision. So before you redevelop answer plans, when you go through this type of feedback, you will understand your exact shortcomings and you can take steps to avoid these shortcomings when it comes to redeveloping answer plans. And at the very end, we have provided mark allocations on a subtask by subtask basis. And we have also indicated a success rate on a subtask by subtask basis as well, thereby indicating the subtasks in which your performance was substandard. So after you receive this type of feedback, when it comes to redeveloping answer plans, when it comes to conducting revision, your job is to redevelop answer plans focused on the subtasks which are highlighted in yellow. Because if your performance was substandard, you need to take steps to fix your problems, because rather than blindly attempting all 6 mock exams and expecting to pass this examination, your job should be to attempt the mocks under exam conditions, to practice your answering time management and stress management techniques. And in order to fix your knowledge gaps and in order to improve your application skills, you need to conduct revision. This is when you are supposed to redevelop answer plans. So these are the things which you need to do in the upcoming 8 weeks. And once I've taken you through the 8-week study plan, you will understand how you should phase out your preparations with the intention of covering all these elements in the upcoming 8 weeks. So having said that, before we move on to the 8-week study plan, let me quickly tell you what we offer at TCS. I'm on the MCS page. If you're yet to create a free user account, click on this button and do so. Once you have created a free user account, you'd gain access to the student dashboard, via which you will gain access to free resources which consist of mock exam 1, its suggested answer, and the answer plan. Also, you will gain access to the exam platform at TCS. We have developed an exam platform which is the exact replica of the Pearson VUE system on which you attempt your real examination. So it's essential, as I mentioned at the very beginning of this session, I said that it's essential that you practice under real exam conditions to master your answering time management and stress management techniques. So that is why we have developed the exact replica of the Pearson VUE system, so that you have the capability of practicing under real exam conditions, which is going to be extremely beneficial for you at your real examination. So you have access to the exam platform on which you can attempt the full mock exam, one full mock exam, which is mock exam 1, even under the free resources. So click on this button to create your free user account. And if you are interested in investing on our paid content, check the sample material before you do so. And if you are yet to join our MCS WhatsApp discussion forum, click on this button and join it. Via this discussion forum, we will keep you guys informed about the weekly commencement dates and times of the webinars and workshops. And at the same time, whenever you need support, whenever you need to get your questions answered, myself and Jared, our co-tutor, is always there to help you guys out. And talking about what we offer two packages, the essential course and the premium course. The essential course is designed for those who have completed their OTQ examinations or those who are coming through the exemption route. So as I mentioned earlier, since you have learned all theoretical elements, when it comes to preparations, your job is simply to improve your application skills. So under the essential course, you'd gain access to the recordings of the weekly webinars and workshops, 6 mock exams with suggested answers, which intended to cover all syllabus areas. You will also gain access to the pre-scene analysis videos, 3 videos in total, the annotated pre-scene industry and financial analysis slides, and at the same time, the top 10 likely issue slides and access to the case study familiarization kit. Once you have read through this kit, within 10 to 15 minutes, you will gain an in-depth understanding about the technicalities behind your MCS exam. You will also gain access to a tutor-managed live chat and OTQ revision cards. So the essential course is priced at £249. And talking about the premium course is designed for those who are coming through the exemption routes and those who have failed the MCS exam previously. So both these sets of students have the same problem. There are gaps in theory knowledge and issues with application. So with the intention of teaching you theory and application, we have included some additional resources under the premium course on top of what appears within the essential course. So under the premium course, you'd gain access to the online mock exam platform on which you can attempt all 6 mocks under exam conditions, which is the best way to master your answering, time management, and stress management techniques. You will gain access to the answer plans of all 6 mock exams, which will assist you with your revision and which will assist you to improve your application skills significantly. You will also gain access to the 20 masterclasses which are intended to teach you theory and application, and these masterclasses are 100% aligned with the mocks which we have developed. You will receive tutor feedback on mock number 4 free of charge under the premium course. And if you need additional feedback, so simply, after you receive the marks, you will realize whether you are headed in the correct path or whether you have major problems after going through your feedback. If you feel that you need additional feedback, you can seek feedback for mocks 5 and 6 or 5 or 6. It's up to you. You can get your each of your answer scripts marked at £50 for an additional charge of £50 per mock exam. So the premium course is priced at £699, which can be paid in 2 installments of £349 each, or if you opt to pay in full, you simply need to pay £599 because you are getting a £100 discount. So you can invest on your preferred course by clicking on either of these buttons. And the products are available until the 28th of August 2026. So if you're planning on sitting for the MCS exam, which is happening in February 2026, you can start your preparations right now, which will give you a head start and which will give you some additional time for you to conduct preparations leisurely. All right, so that's what we offer. Having said that, let's try to understand the important dates which you have to be conversant about. Exam entry closes on the 28th of October 2025. So if you're planning to sit for the MCS exams happening in November 2025, you have to book your exam before the 28th of August 2025. Although you have time until the 28th of August to book your place, my personal recommendation is to book your place right now if you have already decided to sit for the exams happening in November. Because if you book your place right now, you will commit to the study plan. If not, if you wait until the 28th of October, and if you figure out that you have not done anything and you lack enough time, you will push your exam to February. And in February, you will experience a similar situation. Therefore, you'd push your exam to May. And, after May, you will push your exam to August. I've dealt with hordes of students who end up, waiting until the last moment. And in the last moment, they decide not to sit for the examination. Because of that, they postpone their sitting. So don't do it. Don't fall into this trap, because the only way to pass this exam is to stick to a structured approach, stick to a structured study plan. So you cannot get everything done within the last 2 weeks leading up to your examination. So that is why I want you guys to commit right now, book your exam, then you will definitely stick to our study plan. Then you will be serious about the preparations. And the exams are happening from the 12th of not October. I've done a blunder here. I'm extremely sorry about it. The exams are happening from the 12th of November to the 14th of November 2025. So these are the important dates. And having said that, let's try to understand how you should approach the study plan across the upcoming 8 weeks. So you can access the study plan within the website itself, within the MCS page itself. So let's try to understand what you should achieve in the upcoming 8 weeks. So we are in week number 1, and within this week, you are supposed to refer to the OTQ theory recaps. So simply go through the OTQ revision cards, which you have access to concerning your E2, F2, and P2 syllabi. Even after going through them, if you can't understand certain syllabus areas, don't worry, because all these elements are covered within the mock exams, and therefore covered within the answer plans and the master classes. So simply refer to the OTQ theory recaps to gain an understanding of what type of syllabus areas are tested at this examination, and read through the MCS familiarization kit to gain a good understanding about the technicalities behind your MCS exam. So this week is dedicated towards simply brushing up your knowledge and gaining an understanding of your examination, how it is structured and whatnot. And from next week onwards, you have to be serious, because next Friday, the pre-scene will be released. So in order to understand how to approach the pre-scene document, please attend the second webinar, which is happening on Friday, the 26th of September at 18 GMT or 7 p.m. UK time. And once you have attended this webinar, you will understand how you should approach the pre-scene, and then watch the 3 pre-scene analysis videos. Then you will gain an in-depth understanding of what your company is all about, what appears within its financial statements, and what type of an industry we operate. And then refer to the annotated pre-scene, the industry analysis and financial analysis slides on your own, thereby revising your knowledge. So week number 2 is dedicated towards decrypting or understanding the pre-scene document. So in order to do all these things, you will take just 8 hours of your time. And once you have mastered the pre-scene, then you should kickstart your mock attempts from week number 3 onwards. So week number 3 is the most hectic one, because you are supposed to dedicate 12 hours of study time, but in all the other weeks, you are simply supposed to dedicate 9 hours of study time. Why 12 hours within week number 3? Because in this week, you are supposed to attempt 2 mock exams and conduct revision focused on the same 2 mock exams. Because in order to attempt a mock exam, it takes 3 hours. So when you are attempting 2 mock exams within week number 3, you will have to dedicate 6 hours just to attempt the 2 mock exams. And the remaining 6 hours should be dedicated towards conducting your revision. So don't, go through the mock exams on your own. Wait until we are done with the answering technique webinar, in which I will be teaching you answering and time management techniques. Once you have learned these 2 techniques, then try to implement them when attempting the first 2 mock exams. So you will struggle a lot. You will run out of time. You will be exposed to extreme levels of stress. You will give up halfway through. I want you guys to experience all these problems when attempting the first 2 mock exams, because it's better to face these problems right now when conducting your preparations, rather than facing them for the first time at your real examination. So you are supposed to attempt the first 2 mock exams after learning answering and time management techniques in week number 3. Once you have experienced all your problems, then watch the 4 master classes which are focused on mock number 2. to understand the theoretical concepts which are covered within mock number 2, and at the same time to understand how to apply each conceptual area when developing your answers. And once you have learned your theory and application, test your knowledge by redeveloping answer plans on your own. When it comes to redeveloping answer plans, don't time it, do it leisurely, because the objective is to make sure that you are capable of structuring your answers, which are just like the answer plans which we have shared via our student dashboard. So this is where, when it comes to redeveloping answer plans, this is when you are involved with revision. And when conducting revision, your job should be to take steps to improve your skill set. So that's what you need to do in week number 3, which is the most hectic one, in which you should dedicate 12 hours of study time. But from week 4 onwards, you are simply supposed to dedicate 9 hours or less per week as study time. So in week number 4, you are supposed to focus your attention towards mock number 3. So you are supposed to stick to the 4-step process. Step number 1 is to attempt mock number 3 via the exam platform under exam conditions, which is the best way to practice your answering, time management, and stress management techniques. And once you have practiced these 3 techniques, then watch the master classes to learn theory and improve application. Then you'd realize how you should have structured your answers. And once you have learned how to structure your answers, the type of answers you should have developed, then focus on yourself and redevelop answer plans by yourselves, thereby trying to understand whether you have gained something via the master classes. And once you have redeveloped answer plans, the fourth step is to compare your fresh answer plans to TCSs to further enhance your understanding. So similarly, in week number 5, focus your attention towards mock number 4. Whenever you are attempting a mock exam, do it under exam conditions, and the objective is to practice your answering, time management, and stress management techniques. And once you have practiced these 3 techniques, watch the master classes to learn theory and improve application. Once you have learned your theory and application, redevelop answer plans to figure out whether you are capable of replicating TCS's answer plans. And then, as the 4th step, compare your fresh answer plans to TCS's. So similarly, in week number 6, focus on mock number 5. And in week number 7, focus on mock number 6. And in the final week leading up to your examination, which is week number 8, as per our study plan, you are not supposed to attempt any mock exams. You are not supposed to redevelop answer plans. The only thing which you should do is to refer to the answer plans concerning mocks 1 to 6. This is the best type of revision, last minute revision you must be involved with, because when you are going through the answer plans concerning the 6 mock exams, it's as if you are going through the entire syllabus one last time right before the examination. And at the same time, when you are going through these answer plans, you will understand how to approach each syllabus area, how to structure your answers. You will remember all these things during your examination if you are involved with this type of last minute preparations. So don't wait until the last moment to start preparations, because 99% of the students out there in the final week, they are bombarded with work, they are stressed, and because of them being stressed, they perform in an ineffective manner at the real examination. However, if you stick to the study plan, you are done with all mock attempts, your revision and whatnot by the 7th week, a week before your exam, and in the final week, you are relaxing when all other students are scrambling for time, when all other students are not finding enough time to sleep, when all other students are stressed. You are taking steps to relax. Take a step back, relax, and simply you are supposed to refer to the answer plans and reread the annotated pre-scene one last time. Stop preparations a day prior to the exam. Sleep, eat, and rest well. So if your exam is on if your exam is on Wednesday, you have to stop all your work at least by Monday. Take a day off on Tuesday. Walk into the exam with a fresh mind, because you need to have a high level of open-mindedness to pass this examination, because at this exam, your decision-making skills are tested. So in order to come up with the best type of decisions, you have to be open-minded. And the only way to achieve a high level of open-mindedness is to be well rested before the exam. So that's why I'm asking you guys to take a break a day prior to the exam. So if you're attempting the exam on Wednesday, you have to stop all work by Monday, take a break on Tuesday, sleep well, eat well, spend time with your loved ones. If you are into leisure activities, do so. Watch movies or read a book or whatever. I want you to be calm and composed before you walk into your examination, because as I mentioned throughout on multiple occasions throughout this session, I said that the examiner is trying to replicate a real life corporate environment. So your exam is a situation as if you are walking into office on a Monday. So can you function properly on a Monday? If you are not resting during the weekend, you can't. If you are up till late during the weekend, if you were stressed out during the weekend, you cannot function properly on a Monday. So if you are to function properly at your examination, it's essential that you are calm and composed, because especially given the fact that this is a tough examination, you will experience anxiety and stress levels in the last week. So on top of normal exam stresses which you'd experience, when you try to do everything under the sun, when you try to attempt mock exams, conduct revision, and do everything, then it will further increase your stress levels. So if you are stressed before the exam, definitely you will be stressed during the examination. So you will understand the benefit of sticking to this 8-week study plan once you have attempted mock number 1 under exam conditions, because if then you will realize what type of stresses you will feel, how fatigue drives further levels of stress. So it's essential that you stick to the study plan and conduct all your preparations a week before the exam, so that you have enough time to relax in the final week. And in the final week, you are simply supposed to refer to the answer plans, which is the best type of last minute revision you have to be involved with. Don't attempt any mock exams. Don't try to redevelop answer plans. You have to fix all these things a week before your examination. And when it comes to approaching each and every week, I will share some best practices with you as a final tip. So when attempting mock exams, leave out Monday, because when approaching each week, leave out Monday, because Mondays are hectic at office. So start your preparations Tuesday onwards. So on Tuesday, attempt the mock exam under exam conditions. And when attempting a mock exam, your job is not to come up with the best type of answers. You will definitely commit mistakes, because you do not know how to approach each type of question, because it will be the first time you are dealing with each and every subtask concerning different theoretical concepts. So when attempting mocks, your job is to stick to the answering and time management techniques which we are going to teach you in the third webinar, and at the same time practice stress management techniques. So when attempting mocks on a Tuesday, ideally practice your answering, time management, and stress management techniques under exam conditions. Once you are done with it, on Wednesday, watch the master classes. This is when you will learn theory and application. This is when you learn how to structure your answers. So on Tuesday, attempt the mock exam. On Wednesday, watch the master classes. And on Thursday, try to redevelop answer plans on your own. And on Friday, compare your fresh answer plans to TCS's, and leave out the weekends, because during Saturdays and Sundays, you have to attend the weekly webinar or workshop. And at the same time, I want you to spend, I know for a fact that during the weekends, you are involved with household chores. So be involved with these things. And at the same time, I want you to spend time with your family members and your loved ones during the weekends. I do not want you to be unduly stressed when conducting your preparation. So during the weekdays, you are supposed to focus your attention towards attempting mocks and conducting revision. During the weekends, just like what you do on a normal week, you are supposed to spend your time with your loved ones and be involved with household chores. All right, so that's a best practice. I'm not saying that it is a must that you stick to such an approach. If you're comfortable with working only during the weekends, you can do so. But ideally, in order to phase out your preparations, attempt the weekly mock on Tuesday, and on Wednesday, watch the master classes to learn theory and improve application. On Thursday, conduct revision by redeveloping your answer plans. And on Friday, compare your fresh answer plans to TCSs to further refine your understanding. So in order to do all these things, it takes just 9 hours of study time per week, out of which 3 hours should be dedicated towards attempting the mock exam, and something like 2 hours, yeah, 2.5 hours should be dedicated towards watching the master classes. So it's simply a matter of watching master classes, which is not going to be a hard thing to do. And after that, then take 1.5 hours to 2 hours of your time to redevelop answer plans. And it just takes 30 minutes for you to compare your fresh answer plans to TCSs. So that's how you should approach each and every mock exam on a weekly basis. If you do so, by the time you are in week number 7, you will be well versed with how each syllabus area is tested. You will know how to approach each syllabus area, how to structure your answers. You would have significantly improved your answering time management and stress management techniques. And if you cover all these elements, you need not worry about the outcome of your examination. You are going to pass for sure. And when you know for a fact, by the time you are in week number 7, when you know for a fact that you have attempted all 6 mock exams, you have refined your answering time management and stress management techniques, when you know for a fact that you have learned all syllabus areas and you know how to approach each syllabus area, when you know that you have significantly improved your application skills, this positivity in itself will build your confidence. And this confidence boost will ensure that you do a serious job, a good job at your examination, because at your exam, you won't struggle. You will know how to approach each and every syllabus area. So I hope you will stick to this study plan and avoid unnecessary stresses. Don't wait until the last 2 or 3 weeks to start preparations, because if you do so, you will have to attempt 2 mock exams per week and also conduct revision focused on the same 2 mock exams, which is going to be an arduous process. So it's essential that you start right now so that you can focus on each and every mock exam on a week by week basis, which gives you enough time to conduct revision. Because if you wait until the last moment, yes, you will have time to attempt all 6 mocks, but you won't have time to fine tune your skill set. You won't have time to improve your answering technique, because you won't have enough time to conduct revision. It's essential. The most important part of the study process is to conduct revision. You might think that the most important part is to attempt the weekly mock exam. That is not the case. The mock attempts are simply there to practice your answering time management and stress management techniques. The most important part is to watch the master classes and redevelop answer plans. This is when you will learn theory and understand application. And once you have learned your theory and application, you need to practice and see for yourself whether you are capable of developing answers which are akin to TCSs. All right, so I hope you will stick to this study process religiously. That's why I am inviting you guys to start preparations right now rather than waiting until the last moment. And those who stuck to our study process or our study plan achieved extremely good marks at the previous sitting, which happened in May. So this student started preparations just 4 weeks before the exam and ended up scoring 95 marks. Although this is the case, I want you guys to start right now. Don't wait until the last moment, because work builds up when you keep postponing your work on a week by week basis. So if you stick to our study process, you will easily pass this examination. That is why we achieved a 90% pass rate in the exam, which happened in May 2025. And having said that, it brings us to the Q&A. So if you have any questions, you can switch on your mic and talk, or drop us a message via the chat. I'm going to pause the recording. All right, folks. Thank you very much for those questions. I hope I addressed everything. And if you want to contact us, you can visit our website, which is www.studyatTCS.com. Click on the contact button and drop us a message. Our admin staff will get in touch with you via email during office hours. And you can directly email us at info@studyatTCS.com. Or if you need instantaneous responses, you can simply WhatsApp us on this number. And I urge you guys to follow us on our social media handles, especially YouTube and TikTok, because via YouTube, you'd gain access to the recorded versions of the weekly webinars and workshops we conduct. And on TikTok, you'd gain access to 6 videos, which is a good pre-scene mind map. So once the pre-scene is released, you'd gain access to these 6 TikTok videos. So keep watching these TikToks over and over. For instance, on your way to office on a daily basis until your examination, to constantly keep yourself reminded of the most important points highlighted within your pre-scene. So I hope you'd benefit from these resources on offer. And having said that, the concluding thought is to approach MCS as an opportunity to learn rather than an exam to pass, because your job is to improve your skill set leading up to your examination in the upcoming 8 weeks. And if you take steps to significantly improve your skill set, then you will easily pass this examination. So thank you very much for joining us, guys. I will see you guys next week, next Friday, at the pre-scene analysis session, in which I'm going to conduct an industry analysis, take you through the internal dynamics of your chosen company, and talk about how to approach the financial statements as well. So thank you for joining. I'll see you guys next Friday at 18 GMT or 7 PM UK. Thank you and take care.